Hello and welcome to another episode of World of Sumo presents Inside the Dohyo. I'm Scott Finlay, and this is part 2 of mine and my co-host John Trail's sit-down interview with sumo YouTuber and vault of sumo knowledge, Kintamayama. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, you will find a link to it in the description box below and another during this video. As it's all in one interview, we recommend checking that out first, as we pick up exactly where we left off in part 1. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell for all the latest World of Sumo content. Enjoy.
Well, that was the next question. Does size matter?
Well, in Makuuchi, regretfully, yes. Because the small guys like Kintamayama, whoever comes out and does it under 100 kilos, you got no chance. Mainomi was the last one to do it. But that happens once in a generation because he had such an arsenal of tricks. Yeah. These guys don't have that arsenal. I mean, Eno is very flashy, but in the end, you get tired at about around day 7, 8. You get tired of trying to push these 180 kilo guys around when you're only 100 kilos. The numbers say it. It's not like I have an idea. Oh, it's my notion. You can look at under 100. There is not a single guy under 120 kilos today in Makuuchi. You can't
people forget what a treat it is to see the small pygmies up there doing battle against the Goliaths.
Sure.
I can't think of any other sport where there's such a size difference, really. And
there isn't. That's why we like it. That's why. And when the small guy wins, Mainomi Konishiki, that really took it to a new level.
But there's nothing more annoying. People go, oh, they need to put on a few kilos, or why are they doing that technique? And I'd like to take them on and say, okay, so which technique should they have done? Because not all of them go in with a game plan. They say they're doing their own form, their own brand of sumo, but half the time they can't dictate exactly what they're going to do, and people expect that all the little guys can do it. Often they are dictating what happens in a bout, but they can't do it every single bout. Nobody can unless you're a Yokozuna.
Yeah, but also if you're small and you keep doing henkas, then these people start hating you. They say, hey, come on, okay, that's nice. Once, twice, 3 times, okay, but you can't go 15 days trying to do a henka. And anyway, your opponent's going to read it. And the opponents are reading it very well, the last few months. They know exactly to which side the guy's going. Chiyoshoma is an excellent example for that. He was caught this special twice.
Are you more the person who has the henker and the henker? The person who has the henker done to them, it's usually their fault for not paying attention?
Yes. I already spoke about that so many times. Yeah. I'm a pro henker, very, very pro henker, because it's part of the fun, first of all, and it's part of the it's legal. And anyway, if you don't rush blindly, there's no way someone can henker you.
Yeah.
This guy, Chiyoshi, you can also know in advance who are the culprits, who can do it. Eno, Chiyoshoma, Ishiura sometimes. You know that some guys are going to come straight. Kaisei is not going to take you. But, if you're Kotoshogiku and you keep running like a bull, even when you're facing Eno, that's your fault. Forget it. It's legal. You can use whatever you want. And the Harita, I like the belt guys myself, Same thing with the pusher thrusters. It bores me. Takakesho bores me, but when it comes, when it works so well, like the last few days, last basho, it's a thing of beauty. I love it. It's incredible. He was so good the last 5 days. You could see it that he was so powerful. And his eyes, he was looking up. He was not looking down and rushing blindly. Suddenly something happened. In the first few days, and then suddenly it became Takakesho that we know.
His wife whispered in his ear.
I don't know, or maybe he had some lingering injury, or you can also never tell. And also he was Kadoban. He was Kadoban. He was probably nervous.
All right.
Yeah. His injury. I was looking at. I looked up sumo bruises last night because I had an injury similar to Kisuno Sato, and I showed Scott because it came up on Facebook.
Yeah, it's also It's also like what Takakesho had. More or less.
Yeah, but when I look at my bruises, I'm waiting a few more days for the darker bruises to come up because I've never seen anything as bad as a Takakesho.
No, I've never seen that either. Never seen
the one across his chest.
Yeah, I never saw that.
I've never seen that either. That
Never
was
saw
like right round to the back of his shoulder. That bruise went, and then it went all that. That was
That was scary. That was scary.
belter.
I thought maybe, you know, much more serious, but it suddenly, you know, it was okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so over the years, you would have collected a lot of interesting things, been given a lot of gifts. What's your favorite sumo artifact that you have?
I got a nice, really nice towel with the Sadogatake emblem on it from Sadogatake,
Oh, nice.
which I love. I don't take a shower with it. Let's say that. I know. I kept it, and I also got an excellent. I'll show you. Oh, I can show you.
Aye,
Yeah,
brilliant.
good.
Nice shoes.
Oh,
Oh, that
A
was
real
cool.
Tegata signed
Oh.
by Konishiki himself. This was
Oh,
last
that's
time I was
beautiful.
there. He gave it to me. Look.
wow. Well, I found this yesterday. I was too scared in case because it's outside the bathroom. Thought it might be mildew.
That's Akebono, no? Who's that?
And
Akanohana
Akanohana.
and Akebono, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Australia
behind-
coin. That was from Australia coin. That he gave.
yeah, that's right. It's
This he
Greg
gave
Martin.
me when we said goodbye. Gave it to me on the train.
Oh wow.
And without any box, without anything. And I was riding with it like this on the subway. And everyone came up to me. Wow, what is that? What is that? You know, he gave it to me, and I just went on the train like this. And I didn't have anything to put it in.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And did people put their hand on it? And it's quite his is one of the biggest tegatas you can get, I believe.
I know, but I'll remind you that we're talking about Japanese people. They don't. I mean, if it was on the Israeli train, I probably would have been stolen.
As a friend of mine likes
Show me, and then gets off of the next station.
Actually, how did you end up in Japan?
Well, when I was 8 months old, my father left for Japan. He was very asthmatic, and his doctor said you have to make a total change of weather from Israel, which is very dry.
Oh,
And Japan is very wet, opposite. So he had a cousin who had a garage, fixing cars. And so he went to Japan. He was born in China. My father was from the Jewish Chinese who ran away from Russia.
Oh,
There was
really?
a very, very big Jewish community in China. Anyway, he was born in Beijing. And he went there, and then my mother followed with me. She gave birth at 8 months old, and I was there till I was 13 years. So when I was a kid, what we had out here, there was no football at all, no soccer, because there was no league. Today it's very, very, it's the number one sport in Japan.
Yeah.
But we had sumo and baseball. So I'm a big baseball fan, and I'm a big sumo fan. That's it. And television was black and white until '64 when it was suddenly color.
Wow.
It was every afternoon, 4 to 6. And then I used to, my father used to take me to Kuramai, to the old Kokunika, not this. I was there till 67, 85 they moved. I was there, and I have pictures of all the famous guys with me, and somewhere.
Oh, we'd love to see those one day.
That's how I got to Japan. Yeah, that have to look.
Kuramai Kokugikan looked fascinating.
Very
It,
somewhere, yeah.
it had a different sort of ambience about it, didn't it? With the windows up the top, letting in.
Oh yeah, that was. I was very small, but the trips were very, very memorable. I remember looking inside the gekobas, watching the training and watching the shitakubeya. You could see the shitakubeya from outside. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
incredible!
Wow.
Yeah. But I was 12 years old. I don't really remember very much. And I used to watch every day in the afternoon. Come back from school. I went to the American school there. I used to come back at 3 o'clock, and 4 to 6 sumo. And then I lost contact when I came back to Israel in '67, till about '85, when suddenly I got some newspapers, and then the internet brought everything back, and I had to learn everything that happened in those 20 years, because I had no idea about Shiono Fuji or that. They were never real time for me.
How did you catch up? I bought Sumo World and went through it all. And
I
grabbed
bought Sumo World, but then after 3 times I paid for 10, and the next 7 didn't come. I understood that maybe someone was ripping me off.
Yeah.
But
It
then
was
we
a bit
had internet,
difficult.
then there's no problem. And then I went back. You can go back and do check stuff and look.
Right.
and people were putting stuff online retroactively what happened. So I learned that, I pieced the stuff. All these Onokuni, Shibatayama guys, I mean, I never heard of them. I was away from the Sumo for many years.
He said he should stick to making cookies and baking cakes.
Yeah. He's not a good PR man. He's not a good PR man.
No, not at all.
I mean, the way he went off on a haku on that thing. Come on.
Yeah, that was.
You know that he doesn't have a lot of time left. Let him be. But you don't look good. You make Sumo look bad with this petty nonsense. Really.
Yeah.
He went to watch, the Mongolian judo. Not that he went out to the bars.
Now, how is Sumo in Israel? I know that there was a team a while ago that traveled around and went to one of the European tournaments.
Yeah, but it doesn't exist anymore. There's no Sumo at all whatsoever in Israel. But there is a guy, red-headed guy, called Yarden.
Oh, yeah.
And he is incredible. And all the Heias want him, but he's past the age.
Yes, I know.
That's the problem. Everyone went crazy. Photoshogiku, you see the videos, it's unbelievable. He does sumo training, not this guy who comes from judo. He started with sumo.
Yeah.
First time I met him, I was shocked. He's stocky, he's small. He's about 1.80 m maybe, but he's very, very built. He's 140 kilos already. And he's not giving up. It's already in the ambassadorial, the ambassadors are talking. Maybe make an exception, And even they talked about it on the Oyakata channel. Someone asked him about it. Oh, yeah. That was incredible. I was shocked. By the way, the Oyakata channel is a very nice channel. It's excellent stuff. Anyway, they had a press conference. They had once in 2 weeks, it's a press conference with some of the guys. And there was Kiseno Sato and there were the top guys. And they said, listen, he's past the age. Kakuryu was it. He said, the guy is incredible, but he's past the age. The Japanese college, you could be 25, but he's not Japanese college.
Well, I think Tomazuna, when he, Tomonohana.
Oh, yeah. 27.
He was 27, yeah.
Yeah, but, that was different times. And he was, first of all, he's Japanese. And then he also was an intellectual at university. It's not that he was a bum off the street that came and said, I want to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But that was an exception, total exception.
He was great.
And there's the coronavirus, which foreigners can't come into Japan now. Japan is closed at this moment. So, it's all together. I'm pretty sure that if there was no virus, he would already be in it.
Yeah.
Not many left without foreigners, about 5 or 6, but still, he would have been in. Guys that want to do sumo in Japan, they don't understand what they're going into. They have no idea, but Yarden has, because I've been coaching him and telling him and making him. I'm trying to disparage him. Nothing works. He says, I know, I'm ready for anything.
Well, even when Osun Arashi was still trying to get in, I know that he wasn't really working on his flexibility because he struggled when he got there.
But Osun Arashi was a big failure, in the way he acted. There's all kinds of stories about it. And driving and lying when Japan is one of the most CCTV countries in the world, and saying my wife was driving. First of all, don't lie. Whoever lies, if you tell the truth, it's going to be different. He lied. Sanoyama lied. They all lie. Why? It takes 10 seconds to get to the truth. Today, everyone has a camera. Everyone has a recording. It's not like when we were growing up that, nobody saw anything. Today, anything you do, someone captures.
Absolutely.
Well, do you know how to explain that paradox in Japan where they sometimes lie to save face? then I can't understand that one. Can you?
The Japanese psyche is I don't understand it. It's a Japanese psyche. That's why just like people don't understand the Israeli psyche or the Scottish psyche, there's stuff that you say, wow, is that so? They say, yeah, that's normal here,
Yeah.
It's complete, and then you learn with the years that you don't judge people because they're from a certain country. You just judge people by the way they behave. Forget it. There's no norm. Every country has its rules, and it's not to say that this is better than the other or whatever. Very difficult. Japanese weather is good weather, right, John?
Yeah, well, you do get to
weather is fantastic.
You get to wear your whole wardrobe.
Japanese weather. There's a winter and there's a spring.
Yeah.
And it snows. Here you got the winter for 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's 12 degrees centigrade in 7 newspapers. Wow. So
Right, here you get summer for 2 weeks here. Well, last year summer was good. It was a Wednesday. So, but aye, it's pretty much, if it's not windy, it's raining, or it's both. And then you might get snowed under for about a month, and then back to the rain again. That's what we get. Just used to it. That's why we're all white as ghosts and all, know what I mean? All peely wally and need to drink orange juice because they lack of sunlight.
Look at me. I'm in the sun all the time. I'm totally burned. And it's still hot today. It's 27 degrees. We're already at the end of October.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How hot does it get?
In Tel Aviv in the summer, you can go to 32, 33 degrees, but the problem is not the heat. The problem is the 100,000 degree humidity.
Oh, right. I thought it was
the humidity. But in the south, we have Eilat, which is 44, 45 degrees every day. It's like Vegas. It's the tourist city on the Red Sea, which is really nice. I just came back from there. I was there a week on holiday. That's why I'm burned.
So so the bigger the Rikishi, the higher they were floating on the Dead. Did you say Dead Sea or Red Sea?
The Dead Sea.
Dead Sea.
The Red Sea is the difference. The Red Sea is between Saudi Arabia and Israel. It's in the south.
Oh, that's the one with the partner.
And the Dead Sea is between us and Jordan.
And the Dead Sea is the one that's so salty, it's like easy to float in it and that.
That's why they came here. That's why the Rikishi came here. I took them there. We went together. They're all, everyone. And the Oyakata was reading a newspaper lying on his back. So you float. I have pictures. I have thousands of pictures like that.
They were great. I was actually having a look at your videos to see where there was something I missed, but I've watched a lot. But you use all the thumbnails of all your photos of over the year.
I love the old pictures that I found on my.
Your thumbnails are brilliant.
Yeah,
we talk about them all the time. So I don't
even remember when I collected them. Suddenly, I found a new file of many pictures of that back then.
Just the randomness that sometimes the history in your pictures as well. They're just great. I always look forward to what one you're going to use next because they're always good ones.
I don't even think about it. I just do it as I'm uploading. I just press the button and that's it.
I'll have to.
It's not from the same day. That's the. Today they don't understand. It's so accessible. Like the database, for instance, which is the minimum. We never knew this shit. Never. And if there was an old guy, Japanese guy, everything in Japanese. And you can never know that if it was real or not, or if you can count on it. But this one, we have our database is better than the Kyokai's database.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that for a fact.
Your database.
I know the guy that made it.
Yours alone. Your history of videos alone is a better, whatever you call it, like look back. Whatever I can't think of the word on the spot now. My mind's going blank with it. But your records, basically, what's happened and information presented is tenfold what they're presenting anybody that doesn't speak just Japanese. It's crazy how little they're not tapping into, which would be such a pull for them to tap into. But that's their problem if they want to do that. But definitely see with guys like you on YouTube and what we're doing over on Facebook and what we're all trying to do, we are presenting a better rendition of sumo than they could even be hoping to do.
I agree with that. We try to make it interesting and try to talk about stuff that usually isn't talked about, that is not accessible on YouTube or whatever. Like that's why I do. It takes me a long time. That's why I translate. I try to translate every day. The Rikishi talk, which to me is really exciting. Even if they say the same thing, doesn't matter. Because for us to learn what they're talking about a minute after they got off the Dohyo, that's really exciting to me. Because everything is fresh. It's not 2 weeks later. Everything's fresh.
They would never know otherwise. They would never know.
No,
absolutely.
Why do you think?
Because we can't approach that. We have no way of getting this information unless somebody translates from the Japanese newspapers. There's no way. In English, you got nothing on that.
Why do you think people got a bit upset with Murray when he did the commentary, he'd seen something that showed all their likes and dislikes and what they like eating and their hobbies and things, and people got upset by it, and he said, "Oh, I won't do that again." I thought it was
But
fascinating.
Why?
There's a lot of people.
First of
will
all,
judge,
of all the Jack,
They go, "I hate that guy because of the look on his face, that arrogant swagger," and I go, "Well, you're pretty superficial if that's
Listen.
all you've got to go on."
From all the American commentators, I mean the English language commentators, Murray is the best because he really knows his stuff. The other guys are really good, but one guy annoys me with his English. The other guy annoys me with his voice. This guy, but when it's Murray, I can sit back. I don't even have to write subtitles,
Yeah.
With Murray, he says it all. I just have to say who won. It's an easy job. And the other guys, and he never uses cliches. That's what I like about him. The other guys say he's going north and south. He's going this. These guys, that annoys me. On the other hand, the fact that we have English commentators is incredible. That's why I switched to English. I lost I lost half of my viewership because most of the people who were watching my videos were Japanese living in America.
Oh, really?
And they want to hear the Japanese. Yamamoto Yama told me. I didn't know that. Yamamoto Yama, when I met him, I told him who I was. He went to bring his camera to take a picture. Instead of me going asking him for it, you're Kintamayama. I thought you were Japanese. I said, no, I'm in Israel. Anyway, the minute I switched to English, I lost that. But I don't care. I'm on a mission. I want more people to know about sumo. No, Japanese don't need me. They know.
No, you're right.
I'm on a mission for sure.
So with your knowledge of Japanese, do you have like a favorite sort of funny expression? I love the expression like lompari. One eye looks for someone cross-eyed. One eye looks to London, one eye looks to Paris.
My favorite one. Yeah. My favorite one by far is Zambara. Come on, Zambara beats everything. Zambara is when the young Rikishi who reaches Makushita still has long hair. Not enough hair to make it because he made it so fast. He made it up to the rank so fast that his hair is still not, not tied. Some of these guys that start from Sandam, Makushita 10, the Tsukedashi guys, they still have short hair. And Zambara means all over the place. Ichinojo was Zambara till he entered Makuuchi. He was all Juro Zambara. And Zambara sounds so funny. Sounds like Frank Zappa, sounds Zambara. Zambara means, the connotation is the guy is all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's a really funny word.
I love it.
Yeah. No, I never made it.
The other thing that you'd know with your videos, I followed the yaocho scandal very closely, but I never saw any videos of evidence. Were there any?
Listen, the yaocho scandal is true because they found, how it happened. The whole story started with the gambling on baseball. Japan, gambling is not allowed. You're allowed to gamble on dogs and something else, in the national lottery. Gambling is not allowed
and speedboats
on anything. Anyway, the guys, they gamble on baseball, and they caught on the phone. They caught them gambling on baseball. They said, "Okay, let's take their phones." And when they took the phones, they suddenly found messages about you lose on purpose. I'll lose on purpose next time. And the thing that everybody's missing here is that the whole thing happened between Juryo and Makushita, not between Juryo and Makushita. Because when you go down from Juryo, you're back to being a nothing. No more salary. That's a big drop. Going down from Makuuchi to Juryo is not that bad because you still get the salary. You get more or less the same thing. But going down to Juryo, especially when you're married or everything, and you're back to being a poor guy with no money, you come home, you got no salary. So everyone went and did the best they could not to drop off of Juryo. And it's usually the low Juryo ranker guys who were buying stuff. They said, okay, it's either money or I lose this time and you lose next time. And this guy Skebito, Kasuganishiki Skebito, was keeping tabs, who owes who, and he put it on in his phone. And they found the phone. So that is the best confession you can ever dream of.
Yeah.
And they kicked out whoever was involved and some who weren't involved, like Soko Kurai, who came back. And Yamamoto Yama was involved 100% because he never questioned the thing. And some others said that it didn't happen, but Soko Kurai was adamant, never cut his hair, and now he's Doyakata. That's another story.
That was a great story, yeah.
He's Doyakata, and he's also Chinese.
They were told to prove that they didn't do yaocho, was how they had to do
And
that.
the opposite of whatever.
Yeah.
Not until proven guilty, but the opposite. You're guilty until proven innocent.
But I never saw any videos of the bouts in question. Did you?
I'll tell you the truth. You've seen exhibition matches, right?
Yeah, yes.
The matches are intense and they're all fixed,
Yeah, yeah.
All these exhibitions that they say, wow, he took the yusho.
I know.
Whoever is the local boy takes the yusho, but that doesn't take away from the boss. These guys are so good that I
Yes.
keep saying that, like what you said,
Can't
you
tell.
will never see a yaocho. Never. Whatever looks like a yaocho is 100%
That's right.
not. Period. You will never see. They're so good because they train all the time. I saw that myself when Sadogatake were here. They had about 20 bouts. You looked like the whole crowd was going crazy. We had 4,000 units sold out the place, and you could never see that there was any kind of wrongdoing. That
The
anyone
crowd
was-
loves it. They lap it up. Or a lot of fans think that the raised dohyo is a problem, and that somebody was even saying they don't even learn how to do breakfalls properly, which is complete rubbish. They go through the whole gamut, and they don't need to have a raised dohyo in the hair. And I've asked Rikishi, would you? Does it bother you? And they're like, no, we don't care. Let's still fight on it. It's
Listen,
makes no difference.
Again, like Scott said, facts.
Yeah.
The number of injuries sustained from falling off the dohyo are minuscule compared to the injuries inside the dohyo. Period. No argument. There are numbers. You can check it out. Nothing. 2% maybe. How many people do you remember injuring themselves out of the dohyo? Most of them twist their ankles or their knees inside the dohyo.
Yeah.
And we're always saying the guy was lying on the dohyo and nobody went to it. Of course, they're always lying on the dohyo because it happens on the dohyo.
It actually gives them more time to be able to do a break fall. I've gone off the dohyo many times.
I don't know, but the people
does.
that say that, and you tell them, listen, factually, you're wrong. They don't care what you say.
Yeah.
No, but
Kotoshi was a master.
I can see. So I said, remind me of one guy who had a major injury who fell off the dohyo. Remind me.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
Do you know the craziest part about that is, see any grappling sport, the first thing that you're taught is to fall without hurting yourself. Like the first thing you're taught in any sort of grappling sport where you have to have your hands on somebody else to train, you get taught how to fall. And
Exactly.
to think that in a sport as old as sumo, with so many professionals and so much steeped into it, that they aren't taught how to fall nor practice falling, is just one of the most ridiculous statements I've ever heard. And see whoever did say that, I hope that they just look in the mirror and just feel as stupid as they sound.
But they don't feel stupid because they don't know better. That's all.
Aye.
It's like explaining to a blind person what blue is. What?
Aye. Well,
What are you gonna do?
see, even when I explain to people, and like, because obviously I run the group, and we try and explain to people, and some people just don't want to hear it. They want to be right, and then it's a lost cause then, isn't it?
And I say again, it's a waste of breath, time, and patience, and health to
Aye.
even acknowledge it. You say what you have to say. If they don't agree, okay, don't agree.
Aye.
In the end, they will all come around, and the worst part, they will never tell you. They will never tell
Aye.
you, remember that argument, you were right. No,
Aye.
they'll find out by themselves, because the more you watch sumo, the better perspective you have. You can compare. If you're watching sumo for 2 months, you have nothing to compare.
Aye.
It's that basho that you saw that that anything could happen. But you learn with the time that the average is like this. Nobody gets injured falling off the door. I mean, they do, but it's really very low numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not trying to hurt each other. They're not malicious. They're mates.
That's it. And also with the dameoshi, also, there is a dameoshi, and there is a dameoshi. There's a dameoshi to make sure you won, and there's a dameoshi that with a mean streak, like Asashoryu used to do, like Hakuo did here and there. But the other guys, the guy was on the edge, stood on the edge for 5 seconds. You got to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's always everybody's. Wow, they're always looking for the Western
Conspiracy.
exactly
Right.
the Western way of thinking. Instead of going to the stoic way, the Eastern way, and saying, hey, you have to make sure it's a win. You go out there, Takanohana used to say, every day I'm putting my life on Takanohana used to say, I'm endangering my life every day, my life, when I get on the road.
Yep.
Which is true, because you can break
That's
your neck
true.
in a second.
Look at Hibikuru.
Yeah. Not on purpose, and
Know what I mean? Aye.
and this guy died a few months ago.
Mm-hmm. I know I fully agree with that. You're absolutely spot on. And people do definitely need to go over that fact, because they're not out to get each other. Sometimes adrenaline, heat of the moment, losing rank, losing money, all of that plays a huge part in why you might overextend your arm at the edge of the Tawara when you're pushing them out. And people need, again, it's just ignorance and unwilling to listen to any other reasons or theories. They've got their idea in their head, and that's what it is. And if you don't agree
Because
with
they compare it to what they know.
Aye, absolutely. No, absolutely.
And I have an explanation for the dameoshi. My explanation has been they're not allowed to do anything. They're not allowed to go like this after the win. That's the way they express it. Yeah. After the win, he does that. It's instead of going which they're not allowed to. Mm-hmm. That's the dameoshi. That gives them the feeling of the wah. That's all.
Aye.
That's what I feel.
Yeah. Well, it's disrespectful to gloat about a win, and it's quite good if you've lost about, you don't feel as bad either. So it's showing respect to your opponent.
Oh, sure. But it's difficult to explain to a Western sports fan who comes from wrestling, all kinds of grappling where you show emotions, and explain to say, listen, it's part of the thing. That's the beauty of the thing. And some guys will say, no, why should they express them? They're allowed to express themselves. Grown men. Nonsense. Go watch something else, If you don't like go watch something else. Who cares?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But then to judge someone's personality by their resting bitch face, it's a bit harsh.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's life. Yeah. Everything is harsh.
Right. Once one starts, it's like dominoes, isn't it, or a flock of sheep. Once one sheep runs, the rest of the sheep run with it because they're not sure why it's running, so they just go along with the pack. You know what I mean?
It comes from ignorance. But you have to understand that. Again, these are blind people. Don't explain what blue is, because they'll never get it. That's it.
I know, that's a great analogy. That's a good way to put it.
You can't explain blue. What is blue? There's no way. You can explain what the chair is, but what is blue? You can't explain. And finally, they will see. If they stick around, because there are a lot of sumo fans for a few basho, and they leave. Sometimes it's the guys from Bulgaria. The minute the Bulgarians go, they go. There were many Estonians. The minute Baruto finished, not a single Estonian fan. Mm-hmm. Same thing is going to be with the Georgians. The minute Tochinoshin leaves,
aye.
Anymore.
I've said that to John. I said that to John before. See, when Tochinoshin retires, see 70% of the Georgian fans, they'll be gone, and see the Georgian groups that they've got on Facebook, they'll just die. Yeah. They'll die off because, and I've actually said that.
But that's natural and that's normal. That's okay, because they didn't come from sumo. We come from sumo.
Aye.
We don't come from a particular rikishi or from a guy from a particular country. These people got interested because suddenly sumo became popular in their country because of the guy.
Aye.
Otherwise, you'll see Ukrainians now coming in because of Shishi, because he's gonna make it to Juryo in the end, and there'll be a lot of Ukrainians now.
Yeah. They take it very seriously.
Oh, the Russians, as a whole, we take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And there are no Russians right now.
No, not at all.
There's none.
Used to have a few.
Did you try that online?
3 Russians once.
Did you try the online sumo class with Amuru? It was good fun.
There is such a thing?
Aye, I've done it with him.
He's a nice guy.
He's a lovely guy.
He looks like a really nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
Easy going, and he had a very nice end of career run.
Mm-hmm.
He was for a long time, and he finally made it, and he was okay. And again, injuries. If he wasn't injured, he could have done better.
I think the foreigners in sumo have really opened up the world for us, for Japan, and I'm not sure how big Bulgarian yogurt was beforehand, and
No, for sure,
people
100%.
didn't know
100%.
much about Egypt and Mongolia. It's certainly I was so privileged to actually go there with Hakuho and Haruma Fuji and my counterpart at the Mongolian Sumo Federation was
Wow, that's interesting.
Suzan, and he's making me drink vodka with him, and there was Takano Iwa and Shio Shoma and the whole lot, and Sho Tenro, who they reckon was one of the strongest
Yeah, he's
Rikishi ever. So yeah, that was fun to roam amongst the giants in Mongolia itself.
No, that must have been an excellent experience for sure.
Mm-hmm. It was like Hakuho walked around the main square up to the big statue of Genghis Khan, and everybody just followed him like the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
It was just absolute god there. Which
Okay,
I'm sure
guys,
they do that to you in Israel.
Huh?
They do that to you in Israel when they.
No, they don't. They don't. They think I'm crazy. Nobody does with the sumo stuff, because I'm on TV. Every time something happens with sumo, I'm on TV. So they, and they say, "What sumo? What do you do sumo?" They say, "What?" They don't understand that it's they have no idea. Nobody. We have maybe 10 Israeli fans that like sumo, maybe.
Well, you're the best ambassador that
Who cares,
could
man?
possibly be.
Right.
Listen, this is my hobby. I mean, much more than a hobby. It's part of really a very big part of my life. I don't know how that happened, but it just happened. And I still managed to get out of the house.
The same thing happened with me. Sumo took over a huge part of my life, but I enjoy it and I wouldn't change it now. And I'm enjoying everything I'm doing. So I'm just going to keep going down the path that I'm going.
Excellent,
I'm quite
excellent.
happy with the
That's
path
so
that I'm on.
It's important that
Aye.
everywhere we get ambassadors,
Aye.
In the end, we'll win. In the end, they'll understand us. Because
Right. And I feel as if that is a great note to end today's show on.
excellent.
I just want to thank everybody for joining me and John today, and especially you, Kintamayama. Thank you very much, my friend, for giving us your time and
My
sharing
pleasure.
your knowledge and your stories. And I really look forward to and hope that you'll join us again for
Of course,
another show
anytime.
very soon.
Anytime.
Really appreciate
Yeah,
your
that's
time.
great. Thank you.
Right. John, as always, mate, thanks for being my co-host and taking the lead on this episode as well. Kintamayama, thanks very much again. Thank you to everybody. We'll see you in the next one.
Wonders.
Bye.